All right. Hello, hello, hello. What I want to talk about. Oh, church is not a building. Church is not a building. You know, we say, hey, let's go to church. And a lot of times we think about the building, but the building is not a church. It's just a place we go to attend, right? And one of the things we have a problem with when we go to these buildings, we walk into the building with an expectation that everybody is godly. Everybody is is serving God with all everything they got. But here's the thing: not everybody in that walk in that building is godly. Not everybody in that building is trying to serve God. You know what I'm saying? Think about this for a second. Do you walk into a garage and become a car? No. So the same thing happens with that. When you walk into that building, you all of a sudden become a Christian. You're a Christian before you went in that building. Okay, that's how it works. But we go to that building and we think about everybody's in there is on one mind, one accord. Man, that's not the case. And here's another thing about church. People, a lot of times, people that go visit church are looking for perfection in those people. No, people. None of us are perfected yet. I've been going to church since 1987. I'm talking about going to church several times a week. But you know what? I ain't still got it together. My problems have problems. People say they have skeletons in their closet. My closet, my skeletons have skeletons. You understand what I'm saying? I haven't arrived. I go to church because I'm trying to arrive. Some of y'all say, well, I'm not going to go to church until I get together. Well, you're never going to church because you never get together because you're human. You need help. I need help. That's why we go to church. That's why Jesus came. We confess Jesus and all this, but when we live in our life, we don't accept his help while we live in our life. So guess what? You need a church. You need to find your local body of believers and go to church. At least once a week, go to church. 1 week out of church make you weak. Okay, you get weak when you out of church, and you out here dealing in this world. Go to church. Church is not a building. What church is the people that go in the building. What makes the church holy is the people. In the Old Testament, and I ain't gonna give you a bunch of scriptures. I'm gonna just talk to you. In the Old Testament, King David wanted to build a temple for one true God. God told him, hey, you got too much blood on your hand, let your son do it. So Solomon built this elaborate temple, right? But here's the thing. God really wants to reside in us because we are his temple. Our bodies are his temple. He wants to live in us. That's where we really want that building and all that stuff. Yeah, it's good and everything, but what makes the building holy is the people that walk into that building who's trying to serve the one true God. That's what makes that building holy. It's not the building. The building just a building. They catch on fire, burn down, they build another building. I'm saying, don't get me wrong, we respect it because of the presence of God in that building. Okay? We need to go to church. Now, here I'm gonna get ready to say something kind of semi-controversial. There's only one church. There's only one church. We say on this world, the black church, the white church, the Hispanic church, the Asian church. Now, we get on the other side, theologians, bear with me because I'm going to say heaven and hell. And I know we talk about New Jerusalem and new heaven, new earth and all that, and lake of fire. I get it. But when you die, you going up there, upstairs. God ain't saying, oh, you black. You need to go to the black folk. There's the black heaven. There's the white heaven. There's the Hispanic heaven. There's the Asian heaven. Or you go into hell. There's the black hell. There's the white hell, Asian hell, Hispanic hell. Folks, there's only hell in heaven. Ain't no separate hell heaven. Either going to heaven or going to hell. That's all it is. That's how it works. It ain't no separate one. This whole stuff we talking about the black church and all this kind of nonsense. Now, don't get me wrong. There's black ministries, okay? There's Asian ministries and Hispanic ministries, all that. I'm not taking from that. But I'm saying when we get caught up in this thing called the black church, man, people be tripping with that. The black church. Come on. Here's another thing. Again, I'm kind of being controversial. We have to decide when you get into the church, because the church is all peoples, all ethnic groups, all persuasions, right? When you get in the church, this is what you have to, just like I had to decide. Am I, this is Terry, I'm telling Terry talking, am I a black man who happen to be Christian? Or am I a Christian that happens to be black? You see where I'm going with that? What I'm trying to say is you have to make up your mind. What comes first? Do your ethnic group, your race come first? Or do Jesus come first? You see what I'm saying? Because sometimes we run around hating, and you can't hate and go to heaven. You just can't. You can't do it. You got to love. You got to love everybody. You see Martin Luther King when he used to talk. If you go back and look at all those people, what did he always talk about? Talk about loving. As we always talk about. We praise Martin Luther King. He was a great man and all that. But you think about it. Go look at some of his writings. And some of his speeches. He talked about love all the time. Why? Because he had to live that Christian life. Okay. And that's just anybody, and don't get this twisted. None of us have arrived. I do not go to church because I arrived. I go to church because I need help, just like the rest of you do. Stop saying this so crazy stuff. Oh, when I get right, I'm going to go to church. Sure. Man, you ain't never getting right. You're going to be struggling all your life, waiting to get right. You're going to be 99, get on your deathbed. I'm going to get right, But the church is not a building. The church is the people that go to that building. That's what the church is. Find you a church. Find you a church, right, that glorifies Jesus Christ. Find you a church that glorifies Jesus Christ. If they talking about Jesus, they lifting up the name of Jesus. If you go there, and the preacher talk about give him some money so he could buy him a new jet, run. Get up out of there, okay? Okay. I'm not saying people shouldn't make money, but I'm saying they shouldn't be making money off. And then they turn around. Here I go. They turn around and tell you, I'm so blessed and God bless me. Oh yeah, you blessed. You got 1,000 people paying. You got 500 people paying you tithes and offerings. Yeah, you blessed. Then talking you didn't they get all those tithes and offerings in that next one. I'm not against tithes and offerings. I'm saying you need to be a steward of your thing. Give what you can when you can give it. Okay. Oh, that's gonna get me in trouble. But I'm telling you, take care of yourself. Ministries do need money. They got to pay the light bill. They got to pay the water bill. And the pastor, if they're full-time pastor, they should get some money paid. They should have a lifestyle. However, they shouldn't be multimillionaires on your back. You follow me? Find you a church that glorifies Jesus Christ. Find you a church that glorifies Jesus Christ.